Hello there and welcome to 6.2 day 1. We are multiplying polynomials. And so our essential question is, how do you multiply two polynomials? So first we want to talk about multiplying a monomial and a polynomial. You distribute. So what that looks like in this example would just be to cross that over through each. So find the product. I want you to remember too that when you multiply variables, you add the exponents. So keep that in mind as we go along today. So we have 3x squared times x cubed plus 3x squared times 4. So right here we have 3, and then x squared times x cubed, remember we add, so it's x to the 5th plus 3 times 4 is 12, and then x squared. So that's how we multiply when we have one monomial and a polynomial. But the real question we had today were, how do you multiply two polynomials together? So there are 3 different ways we can do this. The first is when we multiply horizontally. So what we're going to do here is do kind of the same thing. We're going to distribute this to each 3. 1, 2, 3. So what we have is x times 1 plus x times 3x plus x times negative x squared. So that's when we distributed the x. Now we'll distribute the minus 2. So we have plus negative 2 times 1 plus negative 2 times 3x plus negative 2 times negative x squared. Now let's simplify. We have x plus 3x squared plus negative x cubed, because remember we're adding the exponents. That would be a 1 here. So we got this. Now we're going to do the purple section. We have negative 2 minus 6x plus 2x squared. So now let's combine like terms. I like to start with the greatest degree. So we have a degree of 3 here, and that's our only one. So we have negative x cubed. So now our x squared terms are here and here. So we have plus 5x squared. And then our x terms are here and here. So we have x minus 6x, which is minus 5x. And then last we have our minus 2 here. So this is our final answer. So that's how we multiply horizontally. That just means we're going to distribute each term from the first binomial. The second way we can multiply polynomials is we do it vertically. So let me show you how we would set that up. We would write it in standard form, negative x squared plus 3x plus 1. I like to choose the bigger one first and put it on top. And then we have x minus 2. Now what we do is we take this term first, and we set it up kind of like regular multiplication. And so we do negative 2 times 1 is negative 2. Negative 2 times 3x is negative 6x. And then negative 2 times negative x squared is positive 2x squared. Then we put I'll change to blue. Now we're on the x term, and we have x times 1, which is x, and I'm putting it over here because we don't have any term here. So we have a plus x here. 3x times x is 3x squared. And then negative x squared times x is negative x cubed. Now we just add, and we have nothing here, so it'll be negative x cubed. 2x squared plus 3x squared is plus 5x squared. And then negative 6x plus x is minus 5x. Negative 2 plus 0 is negative 2. So again, we get the same thing, just doing it different ways. Now the third way we use when we have, when we're given polynomials with more than 2, so this would be kind of messy to go, okay, this, and do that for every single term. So what we like to do here is we're using a table. So I'm going to start with this right here. So our first term is x squared, then 3x, and minus 5. And then I'll deal with this second polynomial. We have x squared minus x and plus 1. So then what we do is we fill out the table. We do, in this first box here with the blue dot in it, we do the green x squared times the purple x squared, which would be x to the 4th power. Then I'm going to go down. We have 3x, I'm going right here. 3x times x squared is 3x cubed. Then our last box going down, we have negative 5 times x squared, so minus 5x squared. Now we'll go to our minus x term. So we have x squared times negative x, which is negative x cubed. And then we have 3x times negative x, which is negative 3x squared. And then we have negative 5 times negative x, which is just 5x. And then our last term here, we have a positive 1. We're going downwards like this. And positive 1 times anything is just itself, so I'm just going to copy the terms here. X squared, 3x, and minus 5. So here's all our terms, but I noticed that we can combine some. So I'm going to start with the highest power. We have x to the 4th. And then we have 2 terms that are x cubed. And we have 3x cubed minus x cubed, so we have plus 2x cubed. And then I want to look at the ones that have squareds. We have 3 of them. So we have minus 5x squared, minus 3x squared, and plus x squared. So what we really have is negative 5 plus negative 3 is negative 8, plus 1 is minus 7, so minus 7x squared. And then we have, I'll do black here, our x terms. So we have 5x plus 3x, which is just plus 8x. And then last but not least, we have our minus 5. So this is our final answer. So those are the 3 different ways that we can multiply polynomials. And so I want you to try these down here. You can use whichever method for this first one here. And then this one you'll probably want to use a table. So good luck, multiply away, and don't forget your summary.